Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. We're just into injury time now. The score at the top is not an error. We're losing 4-0, and it's been appalling. It has been absolutely appalling. Second half, they put a stat up. We didn't have a single shot on target. I don't think we had a single shot all second half. This is one of the worst performances I've seen us play for years. Absolute years. Which, ironically comes off, obviously, a 4-0 victory last week. Obviously, the 3-1 defeat, at the weekend, in midweek to Man United was a defeat which people were, cautiously optimistic about. But today, straight back down to earth. It's not saving graces, but the fortunate thing is, obviously, our league position doesn't change. We still say 16th, although the goal difference has taken a massive whack. Now minus 10. So we're only one goal behind Leeds, for example. So we're still 16th. Arsenal have equalised at Bournemouth. Wolves obviously currently beating Spurs with a late winner there. Crystal Palace lost again. So this was an opportunity. This was an opportunity to get something on the board, and it's been appalling. Chelsea are beating Leeds 1-0. Obviously, Wolves are beating Spurs 1-0. Southampton v Leicester kicks off at 5:30 today. And it's been absolutely appalling. I cannot remember seeing a game this bad. Vidal Gaming, it looks like a training day. Well, to be honest, listen to the commentators for the feed we're listening to, they basically said pretty much after the first goal went in that it was like a training day. It was like a training day for Brighton. They dominated the game from kickoff. Even the kickoff, we fucked up. We couldn't even take the kickoff properly. That's how poorly we were. And that is by far our worst performance I've seen for several years. It was appalling from start to finish. The players must be, well, any pride of those players, they would be absolutely disgusted with themselves to a man. Shocking.com it was. Absolutely shocking. From the goalkeeper all the way to up front, no one came out of their game well. You see a lot of there's obviously not many fans still there from West Ham, to be honest. And all the others there are just gesticulating. And yes, hasn't been a great day. An absolute joke, shocking. And it was absolutely shocking. I have not seen us play that bad for years. 4 years. From beginning to end, we were outplayed for the whole game. We've lost, that's the first time in 100 games, I think someone says 100 games that we've conceded more than 2 goals difference between, obviously, ironically, the Man United game was our joint worst defeat this season, and then this turns up. Absolutely shocking. Dave's off to drink some bleach. Fair enough.
I think I'll join you. Sim's on my way.
Please let the boys know the hammers are aggressive. You're all having a laugh. Just here to give it a like to the channel, get some fresh air and recharge. Enjoy, Scott. Enjoy the rest of your day. That's the trouble about the States and the Canada. You've got a whole day now to we've only got a few hours where we go to bed.
Get down the bar early. Fucking
exactly. Mandy says, Russ, if the lack of fight and energy was a result of playing Wednesday, then I really do fear us playing in Europe then Thursday. We've only got, and again, it's small mercies, but the Man City game the week after next has been that's been rescheduled. So obviously we've got Larnaca, Villa, and then we've got 2 weeks off, and then we got bloody Southampton. That was messy. It was very messy. Let's give Brighton some credit. A top 6 side every day, no effort. Yeah, I mean they didn't get out of third gear, did they? Didn't need to.
To be honest, Russ, that was a completely dominant display from Brighton. You know, if you're a Brighton fan, you've been to that game, you're excited about going home and watching Match of the Day tonight because it's going to be a highlights reel of everything Brighton from start to finish. We said it in the shows we did over the past couple of days, and this is what really pisses me off. We as a fan, non-footballing coach, whatever, as a fan, quickly realised how Brighton play football. They invite the pressure. They play it in their box. Yes, they risk that sometimes. But when it clicks and it connects, they can destroy teams doing it that way. And that's exactly what they did to West Ham today. West Ham could not get the ball. We couldn't even get the fucking ball off of Brighton today. They dominated possession. They dominated the style of play. It was a footballing masterclass from Brighton. And it frustrates me because when we got the ball, we had an urgency to get the ball forward, but there was nothing at the end of it. It was just, let's get the ball forward and then let's ping the ball into the box. To who? To no one. It wasn't working today. It didn't work today. It hasn't worked with the Danny Ings situation today. So what are we doing with 60 minutes, with 50 minutes gone and still not working? The difference is the first ball.
No, the difference is I look back at that Man United game, right? As soon as West Ham scored, Rashford was on straight away.
Arsenal just scored.
Yeah, Arsenal scored 3-2. But and that's the thing. The someone like Roberto, even on his dodgy Wi-Fi connection, someone like a more progressive manager makes changes, and it doesn't work. When it doesn't work, he changes it. At half time in that Man United game, it wasn't working. Man United were losing the midfield battle. Brings on Casemiro. We all saw that, we looked at the 300 passes for Brighton and 69. We saw that. And yet we didn't do anything about it. When we conceded the second goal, we still didn't do anything about it. And then at 3-0 down or whatever, then he brings on Downs and Lanzini. It's nuts.
That was the one that done it for me. That was a double sub when I was like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, I just didn't get it.
Took off. 3-0 down, what was the point of taking Suchek off for Downs?
No, there was no point.
You might as well put Skamaka on. He needs minutes. He needs minutes in the team to get fit. You're 3-0 down. What's the worst that can happen? We can see the fourth. Oh wait, we conceded the fourth anyway.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Do you know what though? The big concern about that is the reason he didn't put Skamaka on, and this is a concern, and I do believe this is a concern, and this could sway me. This game today could sway me, is the fact that he knew West Ham were not going to win. So he didn't think that putting Skamaka on would be an option, because what's the point of risking him if we're going to get beat? And that's maybe not the mentality we want. I'm trying my best to fight what I want to say. I think I'm going to end up saying it. I think I'm going to switch.
I think H on Twitter, bless her. She's obviously there, and she's just put on Twitter, and it's great. I mean, it's not. And again, this is not about who's sitting in the dugout. It's about who's out in the field as well. The minutes, the money, and the miles our fans put in, and this mob can't be bothered to stick a foot in. No desire, no urgency. We've been mugged off today as
the only one that's
a fan base.
Rice, and he got booked for it.
Even Rice was a shadow of himself today.
It was a shadow.
There's not one player who could look at themselves in the mirror today and say, I had a good game.
No one.
Well, I had an all right game.
For me, and this is only for me, the only one that actually looked like he was actually trying to put himself back and was making runs and actually moving was Danny Ings. He was the only only one that was actually moving.
But that's fine.
It was useless running. It was useless.
Yeah, it was useless running. Yeah,
he didn't do anything, but at least he was actually running.
Yeah,
there was if you want to watch a segment, a single incident from that game that sums up the game more than anything else, without anything even happening, was that chance me and Russell commenting on in the first half. The Solly March, when it was the first shot they had on target in the game, they hit straight Areola. But Solly March picked it up, sort of 20-25 yards out, on the right wing. He looked past it inside. Paqueta dropped a shoulder and stuck a foot out, so he just was like, all right, we'll go the other way. Emerson just like walked out his way, let him go through. Ogbonna then done the same thing. No one got within 5 yards of him. They all just sort of put a foot out saying, oh, actually, no, I'm going to block this path. You can walk that way, though. Drove him into the box, and then Ariel had to save it. Maybe he's the only one that deserves anything. He pulled off a cracking save when that sub come off at the end of the kid. He tapped it onto the crossbar.
Yeah, but
no.
You try and defend anything, or you try and talk about a performance. There was no performance, so there's no performance
He's the only
to talk
one
about.
I would say,
in actual fact,
I don't think he's responsible for any of the goals. That's what I would say.
There is no performance to talk about.
Maybe.
Quite simply, there is no performance for West Ham to talk about. There's literally nothing we can talk about at West Ham today. What we should be talking about is how well Brighton dominated, how well Brighton played, how well they are a structured team who know how to, do their homework on an opposition team and go, well, this is all we need to do. And to be honest, I'm Anton, lives up in Scotland. I'm absolutely by no means a football coach qualified in any way whatsoever. You watched a couple of programs on TV, you watch a little bit of Brighton, you see what Brighton do, and we predicted this. They invite the pressure. We could not get the ball off them. Look at it in the second half. I think the commentator said it. They were in their 18-yard box. They played like 6 passes in the 18-yard box. We had 4 players in the 18-yard box, and we couldn't get the ball off them. They then played the ball through the middle because they found the gap, and they drove forward. What happened?
I mean, in fact, was that
the two wingers? The two wingers were running, and Casido played the ball out wide, either left or right. They got the ball, no problem at all. Bang! The next thing you know, they're in our box, our backs against the wall. But you know what? Guess what Brighton didn't do? They don't panic. And if they didn't have a shot on or a play on, they played the ball back. And then they waited. And they were patient.
That was calling out for a Mark Noble.
Yes.
Someone to just get on in the middle of the park, calm everyone down, and just pass the ball out.
What he needed was someone to it needed someone to put something on someone. And they didn't, and it doesn't matter what, sometimes, when you're not getting the ball, you've got to be a bit nasty. And we haven't got anyone who's nasty. We haven't got anyone who's clever and nasty. We haven't got Noble. Noble would just
Noble on the fucking bench.
Yeah, Noble would
be the king of it.
Yeah, Noble would put a foot in, and he would put an extra bit of footing in, and then but would do it cleverly. We were just petulant. Rice was petulant again. Got a yellow card for being, for going in. And for them, he needed to get people on. And then there was a thing when him and Moyes were having a discussion in the first half, and Rice is shaking his head, walking away. No, that's not right. We need. It's like from 1 to 11 on the old football. Not one player I could say had any. I think you could have done better with bringing 11 fans on the pitch.
Yeah,
for one. And I hate saying it, but it was.
But so many football fans underestimate the passing sideways and back. So many fans underestimate. I've said it for years in football. Most of the best teams in the world have it. Xavi Alonso was a king at it. All the players that played for Barcelona were kings at it. And they had players that did that. Nullify any situation that's coming at you. Let's keep the ball, play it back, play it sideways, hold on to it, find the gaps. That's what Brighton did all day today. Casido has a masterpiece in the middle of the park today for Brighton because he dominated our midfielders. He absolutely tore to shreds Declan Rice, Tommy Soucek, and Paqueta. And for me, there's a massive concern there because, Russ, you just said it. When we need that the most, why can we see that? When we're 1-0 down or 2-0 down, and then Moyes is still waiting to make that substitution. That it sounds like I'm bashing, and I'm probably bashing now because that's indefensible. That performance is indefensible. You can't go 1 week and destroy Nottingham Forest, and this is another concern for me as well. Just because we played with 4 at the back against Nottingham Forest, then suddenly we think we could play 4 back against Brighton. Brighton are a whole new ball game. Yeah. We have to be able to change and adjust.
Significantly better team than Forest. Significantly better.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is we then, when me and Russ were doing the fucking selected 11, we're talking about, well, no, it's not working. The 4 at the back against teams like Brighton doesn't work. It simply does not work.
And I think also, I think some part of the Forest game, I think flattered us a little bit because don't forget we were 0-0 down. We were 0-0 until about 65 minutes. Yeah. So we come away. If you look at a paper, you go, "Fuck, we won't beat Forest 4-0." But to be honest, we had a crazy 15 minutes. And again, we were wasteful in terms of we weren't scoring. We were dominating, but they've got a worse record than us, to be fair. But for me, it was the lack of fight today. And pride, for me, even if you're 2-3-0 down, you've got a sellout away end there, and with the fans singing, "You're going to get sacked in the morning," the fans just booing the players. That for me, that shows a lack of if we and people have said before, if we have a go and we lose, we didn't have a go.
No, that is that. And this is what I said about the Tottenham game, is that we didn't have a go. And that 4-0, you think, you know what? I'd rather have seen us be like, have a go end to end, sit and go, "No, we didn't take our chances," and they capitalise and score 4. Bowen had one chance at 1-0.
Yeah.
And I think he should have scored. You're saying he should have squared it, but either way, we should have got a goal out of it. It didn't. That's all I can remember. That is all I can remember.
To be honest, I've said all season long, you need to give a chance to transition. You need that transition. We've been reasonably unlucky with players not being available through injuries. There's fine margins, etc. We're 25 games in, and after 25 games with borderline a fully fit squad, you get a performance like that. And what's concerning is that 20 minutes into the game in the first half, we said something needs to give, or we need to get to halftime and clearly change the message in the second half. And what happened? We didn't do it. And that's why it's a concern, because now I'm starting to think, okay, maybe we do need the bounce. Maybe we need the shake-up. Maybe it is the shake-up we need right now.
We need the extra 5% for a new manager bounce.
What I'm trying to say is maybe we just need someone who's forward thinking, a little bit different, because right now I'm still praying that we're going to be lucky in terms of pick up a couple of results, hope that 3 teams are worse than West Ham. I'm praying on that, but that's a lot though. That's a gamble. And right now, is it a gamble to get rid of Moyes? There's the question.
No, it's not.
Is it a gamble to get rid of Moyes?
Can it? Look what you saw today. You cannot play it cannot be any worse.
That's bad today. It's bad today.
Passion and desire is a bare minimum for any team, right? And there was none of that today, let alone actual energy or trying to get on the ball and play. There was nothing. We offered nothing. And like you said, if we were trying, I've sat at the London Stadium and seen us absolutely smashed off the park by Man City 4-5-0. Or if we go back to the first game of the season, Man City walked us and they won 2-0 and Haaland scored both goals. And I was like, you know what? I said, at least you could see we were trying, but Man City were just that good. And Brighton were good today. But we didn't try it. There was nothing. And
I think
I'm sitting.
Can I also give you something? Wait, I want to give you something interesting from SofaScore. Right, they mark up their players based upon the stats and their ability to play, etc. So, who do you think, in their opinion, was the best West Ham player on the park today? Looking Russ and Matt.
Emerson, I reckon.
Flynn Downs.
He
played 15 minutes, and he outscored everyone on the West Ham park by a mile. It's ridiculous, and I mean, we're gonna have to say. I mean, they actually scored Declan Rice the worst game he's played. But
he was awful. The whole team were awful. It's not just singling him out. It was the whole side.
Is that we sat here at half time and I said to you, they even need to take off Souček because he's basically playing as like a second centre forward, but he's not offering anything up front. I said take him off and put Scamacca on and go to up front. Or I said you had to get Fornals and Lanzini on in the midfield to get hold of the ball.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't have taken Benrahma off because he's probably offering more than Bowen is right now. I think he's our top assists, Benrahma. Bowen is very flip-floppy and it didn't look like a Bowen game. He wasn't really getting into anything. He took off Benrahma for 4 hours, stuck him out on the wing, didn't really make a difference. 15 minutes gone. It's an hour in now. We're 2-0 down. And you're thinking, I'd still get Scamacca on, maybe get Lanzini on. He did nothing. Next up was Ogbonna for Zuma, which was 3 or 4 minutes after Ogbonna got injured and he tried to play on 3 or 4 minutes. It's 15 minutes to go now. You're 3-0 down. And do you want to get Scamacca on? No, we'll bring on Downs and Lanzini. To try and hold the midfield 30 minutes later than it should have been done. If he wanted to make 2 subs to try and get a hold of the midfield, if it Lanzini and Fornals, and Lanzini, Fornals and Downs, if you want to bring all 3 of them on and say, you know what, we're not winning the midfield battle, do it at half time. Don't wait until we're 3-0 down when everyone else can see it's too late to go, oh, we better try and get hold of midfield now.
But do you know what another concerning thing is? I can't help it in the back of my mind think that today's game suited the style of play for Antonio. I know it's a crazy statement to make, but in actual fact, it would have been the kind of bulldog approach that would have helped. And this is the concern I've got: is there's a time and a place when you've got a player like Antonio, who I believe has a career as a last 10-minute striker for West Ham. Every now and then, though, teams, some of the best teams in the world, know when to play certain players against certain teams, because if they need to nullify a threat, we were never going to nullify Brighton today. Never. From minute 1, you could see we were never going to nullify it. If Bowen had put the ball in the back of the net, it would. I genuinely believe we still would have got beat today.
Yeah.
That would have just been a consolation.
I mean, we fucked up the kickoff.
Yes,
we've from the first start of the game we were already hiding to nothing. The fact we had 8 subs on the bench, we were in a hiding to nothing already. Something's happened there. Something happened. Whether it isn't Antonio's taken a knock, whether it's Antonio's. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That corner. Johnson is the nearest man. Now forget Johnson's the nearest man, right? There was one man inside the entire 6-yard box in that corner, and it was a Brighton man. We don't leave anyone up the pitch for a corner. We bring all 10 outfield players back, and not one of the fuckers went, is someone going to mark him? We just left him and was like, yeah, no, it's fine. But we can leave. I don't know who it was. Was it Beltman, I think? Yeah, we can leave him 4 yards out on the back post in the 6-yard box on his own. As soon as we don't win that ball, he had the freedom at the Amex to chest. He didn't even volley it. He chested it. That's how confident he was. And that's how much he knew he was going to score. He chested it into the bottom corner. And then the only one near to him was Johnson, who then threw his hands up at the rest of them like, oh, who's marking him?
Yeah, I know.
That summed our game up in one goal.
Well, my brother just texted me. He rarely texts me, and he just went, today reminded me of Pardew's last match for us, which was 4-0 away to Bolton.
Oh, Bolton,
and someone in the chat said it reminds me of Bilic's last couple of games with us. That
reminds me of Pellegrini's when we lost like, was it 2-0 or 3-0 to Leicester's second team? Leicester actually rotated the whole first team.
Yeah. I kind of agree with this comment here. It's the fashion of the defeat.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
people have said, and I don't really agree with some when they say it. But if we have a go and we lost 4-0, we had a go anyway. But we didn't even have a go to even prove that.
This is exactly it.
And this is the worst. And this is the worst defeat in 100 games for Moyes. We haven't lost by more than 2 goals for over 100 games under him. And so this is the worst. This is his worst defeat for us. So, it is what it is.
This all round is a really bad defeat for West Ham. This all round is a bad performance from every single player in the park. This is a bad tactical decision making from David Moyes. This is bad substitutions. This is everything that everyone that moans and everyone that has a negative opinion on West Ham. This game has catapulted those opinions and put them to the forefront of every West Ham's mind. This game is defining, could be defining, and possibly should be defining, because I've given my opinion on it. I've given where I'm at with it. You
can't still say the players are still bending in or whatever.
You can't defend it. That's the problem. You can't defend it.
25 games in now.
Yeah.
26 games in.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that XYZ
God.
player still needs time to adjust.
Mickey's
We're still
asking for
blending
Irish
players
Tommy.
into the team. Like, no, you cannot be saying that at this point. Like, oh, you know, I haven't looked yet. I haven't looked at Football London yet to see what absolute bollocks Moyes comes out with today. It's usually, the same thing along the lines of, oh, you know, we didn't take our chances. This isn't how I set us up. This isn't how I told us to play. Like, what bollocks is he going to come out with today? Who's going to get? Is it Ben Rama going to get the blame again today? We got subbed off at half time.
Join us later on. I'll tell you what we'll do. Maybe we need time to kind of adjust to what's happening here.
Maybe we might come back
Tommy
later
on for the final word. Final word maybe for Tommy. I mean,
and there might be more news later on. You never know. You never know.
No, I've already accepted we're not going to sack him. I've already accepted that.
You just don't know, do you? You just don't know.
Do you know what, Matt? Like, I know you're saying that, right? And what was the game? What was it? Was it the Wolves game? After the Wolves game, I'd done the review after the Wolves game, and I went, "Oh, I think I might be Moyes out." I remember saying it because I was on the cusp of like, do I not? And then we bounced back and had a couple of decent performances, and I thought, right, okay, benefit the doubt. And I saw a little bit of fight, couple of points. That's so true. He's probably smashed his laptop, so he probably won't be able to come on. But, you know, just a little bit of fight, a little bit of determination, a couple of points here, there, and everywhere. Everton win, good, positive. Yeah. We'll take that. Nottingham Forest win, good, positive. We'll take that. Spurs defeat, crap. It was a crap game for both teams, but they took their chances. Man United at the week there, you know, showed what the capabilities that we've got in the team come the end of a game. But today, I know a lot of people will say, oh, well, I've been there. I know, Matt, I know you say it. I've been there since Leicester. But not every fan has been. But that becomes indefensible. It really does. And I think the thing that pisses me off more than anything is where was the positivity in the substitutions? When we made the Benrahma, was it the Lanzini and the Down substitution? Brighton were, correct me if I'm wrong here, were they 3-0 up at that point?
Yeah.
No, but were they 3-0 up?
Yeah.
And then they brought Danny Welbeck. So their substitutions is what we should have fucking done.
Yeah. Right? No, I said I've got nothing against Solly March, but he does, like, in the way he plays, he reminds me of like a younger James Milner. He's a very good technical player, but he's not the quickest, and he can play a number of roles, right? And he spent most of the game playing like right mid or right of a wing, or I don't know if it's a front three or a midfield four. But he spent most of his time on the right wing. They took him off for Danny Welbeck. So whatever position he was playing, you've taken off a good technical utility midfielder, and you put on a centre forward with 15 minutes to go, and you're 3-0 up. And we took off Souček for Flynn Downs. And then we took off Paqueta for Lanzini, and was like, "Yeah, we're 3-0 down. It's 15 minutes to go."
Also, Matt, the thing is, we can see the quarter goal from the corner.
Yeah, we did.
First one this season. Unbelievable.
No, hold on a minute. Right, listen, this is what we're gonna do when he comes on. Right, hold on. Right. Tommy, I can see you in the background, mate. Right, Tommy. I need your thumbs up for what I'm about to ask you. I want you to come on, but are you available later on to come on as well? That's the key element here. If you can hear me, Tommy, give me the thumbs up. Right, yes, right, that's fine. Right, Tommy, we are going to be going because we definitely won't have the time to stay on with you, but you're staying here. Stay here. We're going to give you your 5 minutes, right? We're going to give you your 5 minutes, Tommy. But we are going to come back on later on for what we call the final word, Tommy, and hopefully you'll join us. We were going to give you that place to do it because I know you've got a lot to say. And to be honest, Tommy, you might find it crazy that I'm even saying what I'm saying, because you might find it crazy that I've not been where you've been for such a long time. But I can't defend that today at all.
No, nobody could defend that, except Moyes will try and defend it. And depressingly, I'm not convinced he'll get sacked even after this. That was an absolute disgrace from start to finish, from Moyes, from the players. If we don't get rid of him now, there is a genuine chance we'll get relegated. I think we're not beating Villa at home next week. We're certainly not going to get anything at Man City. And I think by the time this Southampton game comes around, we'll be back in the relegation zone. And I have no faith in Sullivan, despite the fact that Sullivan was there today. He was at the Amex today. He's up in the stand. He's watching that. He's watching that, just like we did. How can he not sack him after that? That was, as we've been all season, that was from start to finish. The entire game, we got 3 shots off. All of them came in the first half. Second half, they got 13 shots at goal. We didn't get a single one. We didn't get a sniff. Moyes was clueless about what to do or how to stop it. Absolutely clueless. His substitutions were a joke. We never saw Scamacca. Even at 2-0 down, we were banging trouble. Still no second striker on. He prefers to play a winger in Bowen and throw him up there with things. Bring on Fornells and Downs. And what the fuck are they going to do? This game was a systems failure from start to finish. It was utterly pathetic. First half, we had something like 24% possession. They had over 300 passes. We had less than 70 in the first half. The second half, I didn't actually think it could get worse. I thought maybe we would see some kind of reaction in the second half to say, right, this isn't good enough, guys. We've got to pull our socks up here. It could be worse. It's only 1-0. There's an opportunity here that we might be able to get back into this. But what I saw second half was an utter disgrace. And I'm furious with what I saw in the second half. They took the absolute piss out of us for the entire second half. And we're lucky it's only 4-0 because the last 20 minutes, actually, once it went 3-0, really, Brighton took their foot off the gas and they were basically just knocking it about. It was like a training session to them after that. And they still managed to score one. Even taking their foot off the gas. I mean, it was completely disgraceful. Completely disgraceful. And, I mean, look, if Moyes doesn't get sacked now, he's never getting sacked. It's as simple as that. If he doesn't get sacked now, it's never happening. Because if Sullivan can sit up in that upper tier and watch that and still not decide the manager's got to go, then we're screwed. Screwed. I can barely put into words how bad that was. Like, I've seen bad performances from West Ham, and not just this season. Over the years, I've seen bad performances. That is up there with the absolute worst I've ever seen. It is completely unacceptable for a Premier League club with a good squad of players to go somewhere like Brighton, even though they're a very decent side, and to be completely embarrassed the way we were today. It's humiliating. And I thought the players might show some pride, have some kind of self-respect. They went into that changing room at half-time, having had the piss taken out of them. And to come back out from the dressing room and put in an even worse performance in the second half is shameful. That badge fucking means something to us. We care about this club. How can you come out second half and throw the fucking towel in against Brighton and let them take the fucking piss out of you? They should fucking walk back from Brighton for that. And Moyes should be gone. Not tomorrow, not Monday, now. Sullivan should be calling him up and sacking him now. Enough is enough. And even if you've been Moyes in up to this point, you can't defend this anymore. It's a disgrace. And I cannot watch this anymore. Get him out before he fucking relegates us. I'm done with it. Enough is enough. I'll come in because I'm just going to get more wound up the more I talk. So I'm just going to maybe pop into the live chat here. I don't know when the guys are going to be ready to come back in. Hopefully they're a little more composed than I am. But I'm just furious about what I've just watched. Absolutely furious. It's embarrassing and humiliating, and the players showed absolutely no pride in themselves as footballers, Premier League footballers no less, or in that badge. They get paid a lot of money to pull on a West Ham shirt every week. They can't do that. It's a disgrace. So I'll just come into the live chat and just try and compose myself a little bit because I'm furious. So Jake's saying literally exactly how I feel, mate. Really appreciate Tommy right now. A lot of it is kind of agreeing. I don't want to gas myself up in the live chat, but I'll try and get some comments about how you guys are feeling. Can't wait to see the back of Moyes' back room, crappy staff. Yeah, I mean, what do they even do at this point? Brighton are good for a top 5. Yeah, West Ham, not sure. Brighton handed 3 points on a paper plate. Yeah, it's hard to put into words, really. So if you're asking me to kind of go through the game and dissect it, I'm just not capable of doing it at the moment. I'm just not in the form for dissecting any of what we did tactically or player performances or anything like that. I'm just too wound up right now. I'm sure I'll calm down over the next few hours, and maybe tomorrow I'll be able to give a more calm response to what we've seen today, but I'm just not capable of it right now. Matt, maybe you're a little calmer than I am at the moment.
You've said everything I've said. I've been Moyes out since Christmas, and you cannot defend whatever that was. You can't defend that performance. It was embarrassing. I'm just trying to watch. I'm reading some of Moyes' press conference at the moment. It's one of the worst results I've had since we've been back, and I think it's been the worst. That was awful. And then he's saying, he had to play Ben Johnson because Tilo Kehrer was sick. He took off Ben Rama because he thought they were causing problems, so he wanted to be more defensive. On the fans, I totally understand where they've been watching a really good team for a few years, getting 6th or 7th. I understand it's hard to come and watch today. No, it's not hard to come and watch today. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. There's no other word for it. It's entirely...
It was just a capitulation. An absolute capitulation.
At the point I've lost for words right now. But
the
thing is, he won't sack it. You know he won't sack it.
There was no redeeming feature to that game. I mean, there's literally nothing you can take from that game.
There's no positives from that game.
No chink of light anywhere in that. It was dreadful from start to finish. Dreadful stuff. I can't believe what I've just watched. I mean, I was pissed off at half time. But I'm thinking, okay, it's only 1-0. It could have been worse. We're not at the races. Hopefully we can get in the dressing room. Players can sort their bloody act out, get their heads in the bloody thing, and come out and maybe put in a better performance and get back into it second half. I was willing to give them that benefit of the doubt that they could sort themselves out. But to come out and do that, I mean, you just can't defend it in any way. There's no excuse that any of those players or David Moyes can make for that. No excuse whatsoever. That should not happen. It just shouldn't happen.
That's what you get from a negative. He's a negative manager, and he's a reactive, not a proactive manager. And the thing I don't understand, he doesn't have the ability to change anything at any point. I don't know what he sees to think what he's watching is fine. We sat here and said you need to change the midfield or get another centre forward on. And he took off probably one player I wouldn't have taken off, Ben Rama, because he's the only one offering anything going forward. And then 60th minute, they brought on a centre forward off the bench today, and we didn't. And they were 3-0 up when they done it. But I'm at the point where I've gone from anger now to what is it like? Is it to acceptance? Like
just dejection.
He's not going to go. Sullivan won't sack him. And the only blessing is when we get relegated, he will not get 650 million for the club. He'll be lucky to get 250 to 300 million. That's the only blessing you've got.
Yeah,
And last time we were at that stage, he finally accepted it and sacked Pellegrini for Moyes. This time, it doesn't look like he's going to do it. It doesn't look like he's going to accept it. And that's the only thing you can say is at least that's the only reason I think we'll still be here next season. Sullivan will probably still be owners next season because Rosinsky's not going to put the money in if we're in the Championship. 95% of that squad will be gone. Yeah, but hey, at least Sullivan didn't have to pay out the couple of million to sack David Moyes.
Yeah, I think that's the first time this season where I've actually really seen all of the players just chuck the towel in.
Yeah.
It's the first time. In the other games, even when we've played poorly and lost, I felt like the players were trying. I didn't see players trying.
When you hear, when you hear people say that he spends 90% of his week on training, trying to do training on preventing the opposition from playing. You've bought attacking players in the summer to play this possession-based attacking football, right? And then you don't spend any time on attacking play. You spend 10% at the end of the week doing attacking play. So not only do we have no idea what to do when we do it, we're rushed. You look today. You look at today, right? Until about the 80th minute when they were 3-0 up and they didn't care anymore. It was just a training ground game. Me and Naz like counting it during the game. We'd get 3 passes and we'd force the ball away. Because they would just press it. We didn't know what to do. We couldn't retain the ball in any way, shape or form. And how he's watched that for 70 minutes and not seen what we've seen and made any sort of change. And then at 3-0 down, he's gone, now we'll get Rice and now we'll get Lanzini and Downs on to try and control the midfield for 15 minutes at 3-0 down. What was the point?
Yeah, I mean, he's clueless. He's just absolutely clueless. I mean, half time he takes Benny off and put Fornells on. So what was that going to do?
I didn't mind Fornells coming on, but I would have brought Fornells on for Souček. It wasn't a Souček game.
No.
Souček's when we got more of the ball, it's more 50-50 and we're high pressing and we're trying to win the ball back when they're playing off the back. But in a game when we can't keep possession of the ball, so then when we do win it back, you need to try and keep it, do something to keep it. Souček's not that sort of player. So when he brought on 4 hours at half time, I thought, oh yeah, that's it. Bring him on for Souček, give some energy and some ball attention to the middle of the park. No. He took him on for Benrahma because he thought he was getting exposed down that side of the pitch. But he didn't bring him on for the right hand side when Johnson was getting absolutely annihilated for 90 minutes.
Yeah. And he's like, we're getting dicked in midfield. Let's get a midfielder off. So what are you doing, bro? That was just so easy for Brighton from start to finish.
But like I said, if he doesn't get sacked now, he will never get sacked. Like he won't.
No, if you can't get sacked after that, it's
the fact is that we've been since Christmas doing this. Oh, we'll give him one more game. We'll give him one more game. We'll give him one more game. It's like we have 4 or 5 shit performances in a row, and he goes, "Oh, we'll give him." He's got the next game to get a result. Well, if you're at the point where you're saying if he doesn't get a result next game, you already know he needs to go. Yeah. But then he gets that result, so then we'll keep him, and then like a month later, you're back at square one again, and then eventually you're going to get to the point where it's too late to sack him. At the moment, you're just hoping that we can get a couple of results because we've got Villa and Southampton next. You're trying to hoping we get somewhere between 4 to 6 points from them 2 games, and then there's going to be 3 teams.
I'm fully convinced that by the time we get to Southampton at home, we'll be back in the relegation zone. I don't see us beating Villa next week, and we're sure as hell not going to get anything up at City.
Thankfully, we haven't got the City games been postponed, isn't it? Because the FA Cup, so we have to play them for a while. But
that's back.
I suppose the only thing you can say is that our home form, we've only picked up like 4 points away from home this season. Our home form our away form was absolutely awful, and our home form has been really good. Well, not good, but it's been better than the away form. So maybe because you've got the 2 home games for the Villa and Southampton game, you're thinking, can we get results in them games? I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I was angry. I was watching it live. I'm angry, and now at the point where I'm like, you know what, whatever. Maybe maybe we'll get more games for our ticket money for our ticket next year.
Yeah, and look, I know my rant. I'm going on about Moyes and the players like that. And this isn't just Moyes today for me. Like he ultimately has to carry the can for it and has to get sacked for it. But those players today, they want flogging for that. They want flogging for that.
How many times do you watch a game on Sky over the weekend, right? And a team plays absolutely dire in the first half, and like right at the end of the halftime analysis, they go, "Oh, well, they, such and such, whoever it is, oh, they can't play any worse in the second half than they have in the first half, so you're going to see some sort of improvement." And it's actually no, we actually managed to play worse in the first half, second half than we did in the first half, and the first half was awful. And as much as we do need to give significant amount of credit to Brighton.
David Moyes. Let's not. I'm sure when they said that, David Moyes is like, "Hold my beer." I'll show you.
I don't want to try to disrespect Brighton because their football, their ball retention was phenomenal. Like it generally was.
They're a very decent side. Very decent side.
There was at one point they were attacking in the second half, and we were 2-0 down, and they're on the edge of our own box, and we're still trying to back off and do this low block. It's like, where are you backing off to? We're on the edge of the box. Like, you can't go back anymore. You need to at least engage to the players. And then it got to like 3-0 down, and it was like we just left 4 players up the pitch. It was like it was like a school, like on the playground at school. Like they basically left like 4 players up the pitch, and then if we get the ball, we can get it back to them. We'll try and do something up the pitch. But we couldn't keep the ball. We couldn't retain the ball in the slightest. I don't know. Yeah,
it's hard to wrap your head around today. Really, really hard to wrap your head around it. And
look, maybe we'll come back later, and I'll have had time to look at it.
Yeah, those players
decide something else, but
those players don't deserve to wear the shirt playing like that. It's a disgrace. I'm ashamed of what I saw today. It was embarrassing. They made themselves and us a laughingstock today. Anyone, God forbid, thankfully probably not too many neutrals were watching that. Probably vast majority of people who were watching that were West Ham or Brighton, but that was I feel humiliated watching that. And I don't know how many times during the commentary, I don't know what channel you were watching it on, the stream I had, a number of times the co-commentator, I can't remember even who it was, a number of times he said these West Ham players are better than this.
Yeah, he said it multiple times. Multiple times he turned around and said, like, they're better than this performance today. This is just the worst bit for me, and I said this at half time, the worst bit was that it was around the 35th, 37th, 38th, somewhere like that. It was inside the last 10 minutes of the first half. And the commentator said, he was like, it's like this is the end of the game. And Brighton are just playing out for the win. It's like it's the 88th minute and Brighton are playing out for the win, but we're not even at half time yet. Because that's how little we were getting at them. And it's like that. You know what? If nothing else, that is the manager's job. The manager's job is to motivate the team. And if you can't motivate the team to try, forget football winning ability. If you can't motivate a team to put the effort in, they no longer care about you as a manager, and that's your time to go.
Yeah, the only chink of light you could possibly get from this now is if Moyes gets sacked for this. That's the only thing that could cheer me up just a little bit, is to get Moyes out of this fucking club. Because we are
getting Grant treatment right now. They should have sacked him at Brighton.
Yeah.
Don't make him make his own way home. He can come back with the team and he can do his say goodbyes tomorrow or whatever. But he should have been sacked. He should have been turning around to the Brighton owner saying, "Can I borrow one of your boardrooms, one of your office rooms? I've got to have a meeting with my manager." And should have sacked him. I said, "David, thanks for all you've done for the club, but today's performance, as summarising the season, it's not good enough. You can't sit here in March, 25, 26 games into the season, and turn around and say players need time to gel. We need time to learn develop our tactics. You cannot sit there and say that at this point in the season."
Yeah,
this point in the season.
Moyes keeping his job is an indefensible position now. It's indefensible.
But Sullivan won't do it because he doesn't want to pay the 7 million or whatever it is to sack him.
Yeah,
but Sullivan is 7 million against a couple of 100 million he will lose from getting relegated.
Yeah,
should be a no-brainer for a businessman.
Yeah, Sullivan is literally crossing everything that we can scrape by, that we can finish like 16th, 17th and somehow survive. and then he let him go at the end of the season. I mean, it's shocking. But listen, I've got to go, Matt. I've got some stuff I need to go do, and I need to calm down. I think I came on and I said I blew off the steam I needed to blow off because I'm fuming with that. So,
I think we might be coming back on later anyway, so we'll leave it there.
Yeah, the boys will be back. Just for those of you in the live chat, the boys will be back later on for the final word. Keep an eye out for that. And that'll be an interesting watch.
Hopefully we'll be gone by then. I very much doubt it. But
hopefully we'll be coming on.
That's horrible ways to say, because you're talking about a man's job, but at the end of the day, if anyone else is in a job like that, you get sacked. You get sacked.
Moyes, I don't give a shit. Fuck Moyes. He's a millionaire. He doesn't even care. Yeah. He literally was shrugging his shoulders a couple of weeks ago. Oh, if I get sacked, I get sacked. He's a millionaire, and he'll get more millions for getting sacked. Fuck him. Yeah, get rid of him. I'm not going to shed a single tear for him. I can promise you that. So,
well, that's been
our job. I want to fuck him in his job. I want him out of my club now.
That's been our review.
Yeah.
4-0 Brighton. Brighton played off the park. West Ham were absolutely embarrassing.
Listen, I'm going to go, mate. But I'm sure
Thanks for joining everyone.
We'll digest this maybe a little more calmly another time.
Yeah. Stay safe. As always, come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons. Fucking love West Ham.